Around 2 months ago, I went on vacation to Korea, and I promise you the moment I landed, I looked outside and recognized this subtle yet obvious foggy yellow tint blanketing the sky. And later on, I came to learn that it was called misemonji, which means smog in English. And do you remember that warning we got on our phones a while back with the crazy alarm sound? Well, Korea already uses that, and roughly a week from arriving in Korea, I got a warning on my phone from the government telling me not to go outside because it was a health hazard. A health hazard. Yeah, it was really bad. And after a few days after receiving the phone warning, I decided to see exactly what was in the air. And after a few minutes on the wonderful thing we call Google, I found the most prominent thing was PM less than 2.5. I did a little bit of research and I learned that PM less than 2.5 is a type of particulate matter that is smaller than 2.5 micrometers. To put that into perspective, that's about 3% of the width of a human hair. There was 10 times more than deemed healthy in the air while I was in Korea. Check out this link or the link in the description or the link on the blog post to see what's in the air right now. I honestly felt a little bit nauseous after reading that. But does something that small really affect our health in any meaningful way? Well, yes, of course. In fact, there is another type of particulate matter larger than particulate matter 2.5, named particulate matter 10, and particulate matter 2.5 is considerably more dangerous. Because of its tiny presence, it has a much easier time getting stuck inside of our lungs and making its way around our systems. So how does particulate matter less than 2.5 micrometers really affect and react with our lung and respiratory health? In the next few minutes, I will talk about the path particulate matter 2.5 takes throughout our body, how it affects us, where it comes from, and the solutions to lower particulate matter levels. Particulate matter 2.5 is very light, and it tends to stay afloat in the air longer than heavier particulates such as particulate matter 10. This itself increases the likelihood of being breathed in by humans or animals. Once in the lungs, the fine pieces of matter will get trapped inside the lungs and remain there for a long period of time. Sometimes smaller particulates are able to make it into our blood and then our heart. However, a single particulate will not make much of a difference to our health and well-being. It is very possible for particulate matter to become a catalyst for medical problems once the number exceeds a certain amount. When enough particulates are inside of our lungs or around the air, it can begin to cause issues. There are a variety of issues ranging from minor to serious issues. Some people may also be more resilient towards particulate matter. For example, children, seniors, and those with previous medical concerns related to respiratory have a higher risk of damage. Now, there are two main categories of health that can be affected by particulate matter. The first, as I said earlier, is respiratory health, and the second is heart health or circulatory health. When the particulate matter gets stuck in the lungs, it can introduce complications such as asthma, cancer, bronchitis, and other respiratory conditions. In the case where particulates are able to make it into the blood and travel to the heart, it can create problems within the arteries and the heart itself. When this happens, the heart is exposed to potentially developing heart disease, and it can also increase the odds of a heart attack. Now, there isn't nearly enough particulate matter in BC to do any harm to anybody. However, that doesn't mean we can slack off. Although we're usually at a healthy level of particulate matter, other places around the world, such as China, Korea, Japan, Europe, and even some parts of America are at a much higher, unhealthy amount of particulate matter. The main sources of particulate matter 2.5 would be man-made combustions and burnings. The everyday car ride and power plants using fossil fuels or coal are the #1 contributors of particulate matter. Other secondary sources include natural events such as volcanic activity and chemical reactions. There are a few ways we can attempt to counter the causes and effects of particulate matter. One example of defending against particulate matter is to wear certified masks that have the ability to filter out such tiny particles. However, these are usually disposable and they are only usable once, which only adds to the problem if they are made in a factory. Another idea to decrease particulate matter levels is to restrain society from using too much fuel or energy that produces smoke. This could be possible by raising the price of fuel or putting more restraints on the companies that use such factories or methods to produce their products. To conclude, particulate matter is a major issue around the world, and although we may not be able to see it with our own eyes in the area we live, it doesn't mean that we will not be affected or influenced by pollution in the near future. Reducing particulate matter production at an early stage would be beneficial to not only our country and our city, but the whole world. It is a picky situation that can be solved with some creativity and thinking and challenging ourselves to do something that isn't maybe the easiest way to do something.